Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is GTR and it is an extreme privilege to be doing the English commentary for the Asian Games located in Jakarta, Indonesia. Of course, the Asian Games have not started yet, but we will be having some regional qualifiers for the different regions of Asia, and we'll be doing this game between IP Domingos of Macau, 35-year-old Protoss player, against Go Joey, 22-year-old Zerg player from Hong Kong. Did a bit of research earlier on, and I found out that Go Joey's is actually a master's rank in Korea, while IP Domingos is a platinum player from China, so should have a good match here. Go Joey being from Hong Kong, I believe that he is probably the best player from Hong Kong right now, given that Beastalk has dropped in activity, if my memory serves me correctly. Anyway, to the map ban and pick selection, this is the same process that we do for the global WCS tournaments, so each player gets to ban 2 maps, and then a player picks a map, and then the remaining map will be the first map played. In this case, Go Joey deciding to ban 16-bit and Redshift, while IP Domingos will ban Dreamcatcher and Catalyst. Therefore, the map pool for this series, first off will be on Darkness Sanctuary, followed by either Lost and Found, or if Go Joey loses the next match, it will be on Acid Plant. Quite surprised that Darkness Sanctuary was not banned by IP Domingos. It is the only 4-player map in this current map pool that we have for this season's ladder and subsequently all WCS tournaments worldwide. Given that it is a 4-player map, it is very favourable for Zerg, as expansions are very common and easy to take. Let's see how IP Domingos does in this game, and let's get started. Spawning here at the top left position on Darkness Sanctuary from Macau, it is IP Domingos, and top right here from Hong Kong, it is Go Joey. So we do have a horizontal spawn for both players. Honestly, on a map like Darkness Sanctuary, where the map is very big, it does not really matter too much whether you get cross spawn, vertical spawn, or horizontal spawn, because the distances between the two bases are very large. Not to mention also that it is very easy to take 3 bases on this map, as the map not only is so large, the ramps leading to the expansions allow you to take control of each of the expansions when needed. As we see here, IP Domingos deciding to scout vertically first. Generally, the Zerg player would try to get the Overlord to the closest natural expansion to see if there's any sort of wall off first. So, with IP Domingos scouting vertically, we'll see nothing. Looks like we've got a pretty standard build from Go Joey, going for that early hatchery along with the spawning pool and the gas. Wants to get the speed up as soon as possible. Meanwhile, IP Domingos is going for the really quick Nexus. No surprises there. It's probably going to get an Adept out of this to deflect any sort of Zergling pressure. And there's the second gas as well. So generally in this matchup you will be seeing a lot of Protoss players opting to go for the quick Stargate, get that Oracle out, get some scouting, perhaps add an additional Phoenix to that to eliminate any Overlords that are straying all over the map. Especially on a map like this that's very big, having a Phoenix would be very advantageous, because for the Zerg player it will be hard to keep those Overlords alive given the map size. And here we see the first 4 Zerglings out for Go Joey. He's trying to hunt for this scouting probe right now, but the scouting probe of IP Domingos is being very sneaky, going through the right path that's not really direct towards the top right, and it looks like he will scout out that third. Oh, actually, he missed third base, so luckily for Go-Go Joey, he plants down that third base just after IP Domingos' probe goes by it. Got some pressure here from Go-Go Joey with the 4 Zerglings. Hits the pylon for a bit, but looks like he's going to opt to move these Zerglings back. Perhaps he's a bit scared of what IP Domingos might have up in his ramp. Doesn't want those Zerglings to be trapped. But it looks like IP Domingos is being very safe right here, using that Adept at the main ramp to form a nice wall off. He's also getting that Stalker to eliminate the Overlord. He's also chrono boosting that Warp Gate as soon as possible so he can get that technology out. It looks like it's going to be a Phoenix first opening from IP Domingos as opposed to an Oracle opening. So clearly that IP Domingos wants to dominate the skies early. Very quick gases actually coming here from IP Domingos as, the Zergling run by here from Go-Go Joey. Gets 1 probe, he gets the 2nd probe. Doesn't get another probe though, but for 2 lings, getting 2 probes is a good trade. Ooh, bit sloppy there, losing these additional lings. Nice pick off there from IP Domingos. And looks like he's trying to formulate a wall at his expansion ramp. Obviously, he's quite scared of those circling run-bys. So you see the production. We've actually got another Stargate coming from IP Domingos. He's also adding an Oracle to his Phoenix fleet. Let's see what this initial Phoenix does. Probably wants to scout what Go-Go Joey is doing. He hasn't really gotten a full scout in ever since that initial probe died to the Queen early on in the game. Ooh, it gets hit by the Spore Crawler. Shields are gone. Let's see if the Spore Crawler... Oh, this Spore Crawler actually might kill the Phoenix with the Queen shots. Oh, it's so low. 6 health there from IP Domingos. Oh, the Queen catching the Phoenix off guard, and that is 1 Phoenix down for IP Domingos. It's unfortunate there for him. He doesn't really want to lose those air units. They're so valuable at this stage of the game. Having air dominance is very valuable when you're facing a Zerg against, as a Protoss rather. Okay, we got the Roach Warren with the speed upgrade at the Roach Warren, along with the +1 ranged. We've also got a lot of Roaches being morphed in, being hatched by Go-Go Joey, so definitely looks like Go-Go Joey wants to win this match quite soon. As you can see in the production tab, there aren't any drones being built from those hatcheries, and looks like we've got a rally of Roaches coming in here from Go-Go Joey. Eventually we will be seeing some Ravagers. Let's see what IP Domingos has. He's only got a few Zealots along with a couple of Adepts and 1 Stalker. This is not enough. It would be really nice to have a few more Stalkers or even a shield battery to help out, but looks like this Oracle's trying to get some hits in on these Roaches, but it just doesn't provide enough damage. Looks like here, Go-Go Joey barreling through with these Roaches and that 1 Ravager. The Ravager's been lifted up by the Phoenix, but these Roaches doing their work. Lots of damage done on these Roaches, but it's just not enough for IP Domingos. These Roaches are so low on health that IP Domingos has no units. Oh, and here comes the rally. More Zerglings, more Roaches. It don't really need Ravagers to be morphed in right now from Go-Go Joey. You've got the speed upgrade on him. You have your opponent who has no air units. IP Domingos looking very lost right now. And as this rally of Roaches keeps flooding into the base of IP Domingos, GG, Go-Go Joey wins the first match of this series, this best of 3. As the units of Go-Go Joey keep barreling forward, just waiting for the victory screen to show up here for Go-Go Joey. There it is, GG, Go-Go Joey, very convincing win there. Takes out that first match on Darkness Sanctuary. Very nice game there from Go-Go Joey. Saw that there were exploits in IP Domingos' defense didn't really help for IP Domingos as well that he did lose that Phoenix early on. Did not keep that around to scout around the base of Go-Go Joey. Didn't adapt to what Go-Go Joey was doing, and as a result, Go-Go Joey takes out that first game on Darkness Sanctuary. So we got one game ahead here for Go-Go Joey. If he wins this next game, he will be taking the series, and he will be taking the 2 points for himself in this preliminary round of the Asian Games. Once again, my name is GTR. I will be doing the English commentary for this series between IP Domingos of Macau and Go-Go Joey of Hong Kong. 2 players from the East Asian region will be advancing to the grand finals of the esports portion, the StarCraft 2 portion of the esports event at the Asian Games in Jakarta, Indonesia later on this year. It's an absolute pleasure to be casting in these games, being a part of history by being involved with what is pretty much a historical moment for esports and sports in general. So we're just waiting on the next game to start. I believe it will be on Lost and Found, as it was the map that IP Domingos did decide to pick in the case he lost the previous game. And indeed it is. And if IP Domingos wins this game on Lost and Found, we will be going to Go-Go Joey's pick, which is Acid Plant. Very rough game there from IP Domingos. If he didn't lose that initial Phoenix, he could have survived a bit longer, picked off a few more Overlords. But Go-Go Joey, demonstrating his experience in StarCraft 2, recognized the weaknesses in IP Domingos' gameplay and exploited it quite well. Given that Lost and Found is a 2-player map, this should theoretically bode a bit better for IP Domingos. He got that scout pretty late into Go-Go Joey's base, didn't really get to see too much besides the 2 bases. Remember that he lost he went by the 3rd base as he was planted, and looks like we're getting right into this game. Spawning here at the bottom left from Macau as the Blue Protoss, it is IP Domingos. And here at the top right as the Red Zerg from Hong Kong, 1 game ahead, it's Go-Go Joey. Alright, so you see here IP Domingos, same sort of build as the previous game. He's going to put that pylon near his main ramp. Just going to formulate a soft wall with the gateway and cybernetics core most likely. Is looking for a slot to put that adept in, or stalker, or zealot, or any sort of gateway unit to block from any sort of run by. Given that it is a 2-player map, looks like IP Domingos has decided to delay his scouting probe quite a bit. On Darkness Sanctuary, as a 4-player map, you have to scout early with that probe, but it looks like he's gonna take the risk and scout a bit later. There we go. There's the scouting probe coming in for IP Domingos. Once again, from Go-Go Joey, going for that very standard build of hatch first into spawning pool with that quick extractor, getting that speedlinger upgrade as soon as possible without compromising too much on your economy. And a very interesting scouting pattern here from IP Domingos. It looks like he's going to scout this bottom right base first. It's not going to see any sort of proxy shenanigans from Go-Go Joey. As the game progresses, nothing too out of the ordinary from both players. IP Domingos going for that quick nexus as he did in that previous game, Go Joey getting those additional queens to help with the lava production, also with the creep tumor spreading. And speed has just started along with warp gate for both players, and oh, that's actually quite unfortunate there from IP Domingos. A bit too many probes on that gas. Hopefully he'll take some notice and fix that as soon as possible. And here comes the initial set of Zerglings from Go Joey. He's got 2 coming here from the south and 2 coming from the north. Let's see how much damage he can do to the base of IP Domingos. IP Domingos doesn't really have much right now. He's only got 1 Stalker actually being warped in right now. He has to chrono boost that gateway to get that Stalker in as soon as possible. Go Joey actually going for the pylon here. Notices there's a vulnerability, but IP Domingo is getting his probes out, trying to defend as much as he can. He's losing so much mining time though. And the Twilight Council is being chrono boosted with that blink upgrade. I'm pretty sure that Go Joey rather has noticed that Twilight Council is being chrono boosted, so he can accommodate as appropriately for the blink play that is coming from IP Domingos. There we have it, we've got the Roach Warren being put down. A few more queens as well to help with the defense of the pressure of IP Domingos whenever it comes to it. It's got another 2 gateways being warped in for IP Domingos. Placed there at the choke point of the expansion. And he's going to add another one as well. Unfortunately for him, Go Joey has a very nicely placed Overlord there in the spot that allows you to view what your opponent is doing there at the expansion choke point. So Go Joey has a very comfortable position. Gets to see how many gateways are being built, or at least how many gateways are being part of the build. Who knows, that could be more gateways being hidden in the main base, but if you see on the minimap, Go Joey is a nicely placed Overlord just at the outskirts of the main base, in the case he decides to scout the main base. Alright, the drone production has stopped for Go Joey at 42 drones, and looks like he's going to be rallying over Roaches and Zerglings. I don't see any sort of Roach speed upgrade though, so it looks like this is just going to be a pure Roach Zergling all-in attack from Go Joey. He's just combining his forces right now, just outside the base. And oh, here comes the force of IP Domingos. Let's see how well his micro is. No blink upgrade done though. Okay, there's the blink, but he lost a few Stalkers there. With the blink on cooldown right now, the Roaches just pummeling in onto the choke point of IP Domingos. IP Domingos with these Stalkers. Bit of nice blink Stalker micro there, but oh no, the forces of Go Joey just barrel in through that choke point that IP Domingo neglected to block. And Ravagers being morphed in the expansion of IP Domingos. These Stalkers fighting for their life. IP Domingos fighting for his serious life right now. The Ravagers, the Roaches, the Zerglings just pummeling through IP Domingos. He doesn't have too many gateways being morphed into warp gates at the moment. And GG, Go Joey with the 2-0 victory over IP Domingos. Very quick games here from him, and congratulations to Go Joey with that victory over IP Domingos from Macau. He will be taking the 2 points home for him in the East Asian region preliminary of the Asian Games StarCraft 2 esports tournament.
Hello everybody, welcome to a TVP, Terran versus Protoss match coming up for the Asian Electronic Sports Federation here at the 18th Asian Games. I'm Rifkin, joined by Zombie Grub.
Hello everyone.
Boy howdy, it's good to have you, Zombie Grub.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're gonna have some interesting games. See some, representation from countries you don't usually get to see a lot of, and from some fairly old players too. We have the stats of their age, and someone being
Yeah.
35 years old. That's not really that common anymore. It's never really been that common. So I hope he performs well.
It's interesting, those stats too, because while it's great having the players' names and their nationalities, of course, shout out to Japan, as I am half Japanese, a little bit of a bias here. It's cool because you hear StarCraft is a game for older folks, and now you get to see it firsthand. As Cyark at 29 going to be tackling Domingos, who's 35.
Yeah, I mean, even it's weird to have a 6-year age gap like that, but on a much later scale too. So it's really weird. I guess now we have a couple of players that are like 16 going facing against 22-year-olds that just, even saying that made me feel really old.
Right.
Anyways, we got the map ban and picks, and we have some of the new standard maps like 16-bit actually banned from Domingos.
Yeah, really strange. Lost and Found, I think 16-bit are probably the more commonly picked of the new maps. It's not at all surprising to see a Terran, especially of all people, Cyark banning Darkness Sanctuary, but as well as Redshift. Redshift is a map that is only really played now in Game 7 of a best of 7. Not many players are willingly picking that map.
Right. And Acid Plant Catalyst being the old maps, that makes sense to have pop up, but Dreamcatcher was Domingo's pick. That's surprising to me because Dreamcatcher can be a bit of an odd map. Some people really like it, so it's not like the weirdest thing in the world, but it's also that he is Protoss, and I would say that this is a map where it is a little bit more difficult to take that third base. You have some good siege spots for tanks and Liberators, as well as just a bit more of a concave once they kind of fit their way in multiple angles. So kind of surprised to see the Protoss of these two choose that one.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of Dreamcatcher, so I'm hoping we do get to see it here in this best of 3. More games, there's more maps, obviously. But the first one's going down on Acid Plant, and I guess we're going to be hopping into it right now. So spawning here in the top left side is blue and beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is IP Domingos.
In the bottom right has the Red Terran for Japan. He is Cyark.
All right, TVP's in a fickle spot right now. We've seen a lot of balance complaints and even some changes go across the matchup. Recently, I think the most notable thing is the fact that we had a balance patch. It changed Ravens, which hasn't really affected this matchup nearly as much as the 10 health to the Vikings, and of course, the Marauders getting a little bit of their power back.
It's definitely all eyes on the Marauders, though. I mean, the Viking thing is substantial. That changed some of the kill shots for them, so that is like really a big difference. But Vikings had already kind of been moved out of a permanent place in this matchup. You get one maybe for a Warp Prism, or maybe you go into quadruple Viking production because that's the style you want to play. But more often we see the mass bio style with drops into a lot of Liberators even before the Marauders were buffed. But now that they're buffed, there's an especially big reason to go for that more just bio-oriented style, less about the Vikings.
And I mean, there's going to be a little bit of favoritism, guys. Shout outs here real quick to Cyark. Not only does he play in a lot of events internationally that we've had the pleasure of seeing him in, he's also Terran, so very close to our hearts.
Well, he's going to open up the Marine here. Now, Cyark, he's not going to really be able to, I think, stop the Migos from getting the clues that it is going to be potentially, I guess, most likely to be a 1-1-1, as that's what a lot of people are opening up with, especially on this map where you do have some nice tank spots, if Cyark even goes into tanks. But he had to skedaddle really quickly to survive against the Marine.
Well, it's funny because speaking of the matchup being in this state of flux too, you're always keeping a mind on proxies, and there's different types. You can proxy a Starport or you can proxy a Stargate. Depends on how aggressive you're willing to be, but I think with a big tournament like this, I would hope to see a lot of more standard macro games out of these guys, especially just for the fans.
Domingo's gonna have some tough times getting that probe back in. Of course, Cyark now just going for Marine a bit faster to push that probe away. It's also the Reaper doesn't do so well on Acid Plant in general. And if he is gonna go for Divine Drop, which the factory's coming down, I think he is, he's gonna be able to get that scout anyways. But Domingo's is not gonna be able to get the follow-up scout on the production facilities. He did see the gas timing. I believe it was a gas first too. Although actually it might not have been because he went for Marine first. This could be a situation where Domingos isn't quite sure that's a 1-1-1. It's a good guess. I would say like 75% of openers, maybe even 80% are those 1-1-1s, but always sucks not to be in the know.
Another popular build we see Terrans whip out from time to time, of course, is you don't throw down that quick gas. You get, in fact, like a faster CC or something. I think scouting for Domingos is definitely the question at hand, but Psyark, because he's doing something kind of normal and looks to be just like probably Widow Mines into that drop, right? It's not that he needs to worry about anything. He's doing such regular things that are a nice kind of a catch-all. So even if Domingos was having like an Oracle sneak in, he's got the Marine count to deal with it. If there was a Warp Prism coming in quickly, a Widow Mine can reposition. Psyark's gonna be okay, and looks like that Adept's gonna come up the ramp and do a World of Hurt. Surprise!
Nice use of the ramp. There's no ramp at your natural and acid plant, so you kind of have to go a little bit farther. But to take away that ability to shade from the Protoss, to get that follow-up scout to annoy you with Radiant Supply Depots, always a nice feeling. Now, Psyark is going to be going for, I think it's the second one of mine there, but right up into the barracks. We'll see if he stops by tanks or not. He's got an SCV. I like this, actually. I think that scouting the third base is often the biggest tell you can get in this matchup, if you don't go for 1-on-1 especially. Seeing that timing can really tell you what's happening, but I don't think Domingos is planning to take third base that quickly. And we still have to kind of see if he's going to go for more of that Twilight Council play, although he doesn't have one yet, or maybe even to a robotics play.
Yeah, actually, it's a bit strange. I guess we've been seeing so many Stargate openers. I hadn't really considered that there wasn't one here. Phoenix are very popular right now, and they're looking so good in most matchups, but just that Oracle for scouting, Revelation tags, you name it. Not happening here, but again, we might see that in the next game, regardless of who wins this one. We do have the Widow Mines coming in, though. Will it get scouted? It will get scouted. So he sees the Widow Mines, or he sees a drop, rather, coming in. But Widow Mines are pretty common.
Domingos went for such a quick robotics ban. I think his gateways might have been a little late as well. He doesn't have anything to shoot down the medevac, so the Widow Mines aren't getting fantastic shots, I guess, but nor are they really dying. The medevac's gonna live.
Yeah, it's a single stalker, so a little bit of a... Ooh, nice shot on the warping in stalkers, too, so even less anti-air. Probes being pulled all over the place. That's a long time. No minerals, no income, no mining, because they're so busy running for their lives, and this medevac not going down is going to continue to be a huge nuisance. There's nothing on the production bar for Domingos right now. He's just so busy running away.
Yeah, this is not a great start for Domingos, who certainly has messed up his macro, the process of defending this. Now, at least he has information on what's happening. He realizes it's not a tank follow-up with his observer, but that's not necessarily a good thing. He's going for these fast Colossus. Presumably, it's not going to be Disruptors, but actually Colossus, and you don't have a lot of units when you do that. It's even less now that he lost a couple, right? So a concave of the new Marauders especially could do very well against the style Domingos is playing, and I'm quite worried for him.
I mean, given enough time, a couple Colossus can certainly mow through the Marines. They got the bonus damage versus light, so they're perfect for that. But you're right, like Colossus and Siege Tanks and all these area of effect units, their greatest weaknesses when they have to fight multiple fronts. But hold that thought. Stalkers miss the medevac? Ooh, that's a mistake. That boosts on right to the main, gonna drop a Widow Mine to that mineral line by the looks of it. More chaos for these poor probes who might just die.
Not a bad shot whatsoever. This is kind of a weird run by. Stim isn't done, but oh man, Domingos caught on move command, just loses units. He's just going to the maybe sticker of the Widow Mine.
Yeah, completely caught off guard by this flank out of Psyark. Beautifully done by our Terran, taking advantage of the situation. Now with most of the army out of IP Domingos gone, he's free to shoot those probes up at the mineral lines. And as you mentioned, this has all been without Stim. It gets even more dangerous in 3 seconds when Stim pack completes.
Oh, whoa, did that Widow Mine get another shot? I don't know, maybe it was just the Marines and the natural, but suddenly up to 23 workers killed. Oof. And this is a very, very poor game for Domingos. His Colossus finally pops out. We have to deal with this army, I guess, but Psyark already has another bigger, heftier army with Marauders.
He's done so much damage with his attack. I mean, arguments here are IP Domingos went for a pretty quick third. Ooh. That is quite the hefty difference in resources lost. Domingos went for a pretty quick third. So, I mean, he didn't have the gateways, the units, the production, most notably the stalkers to stop those first medevacs. He's really paying the price for playing greedy. And, I mean, 41 total supply to 107, but more importantly, 15 army to 52. Psyark is just shy of an A move here to close out the game.
This looks like it's going to be a cool move. He's maybe going to drop the Widow Mines on top of the army. Okay, he's not going to the main, so I think that's what he's planning on doing. And with the concave of those Marauders I was talking about earlier, this should just be not quite a move, but it'll be a cool move to end the game.
Get that carpet bomb. Here it goes, boosting on in, dropping those Widow Mines. Colossus is dead on arrival. There's nothing for the Widow Mines to kill. That's it.
Oh, that doesn't feel so good.
No, this was a well. If you're Psyarch, that felt amazing. Your Domingos, unfortunately, you're not feeling so hot right now. He's warping in units desperately, but I think he knows the situation he's in. It's about to get brutal here in the natural base.
That is a dead third base. Is going to be a dead natural, and it's going to be
GG.
a loss first game for Domingos. Now, he hasn't played in his map choice yet, I guess, so...
But it is a best of 3, and that is what's going to be key here. So despite the elongated tap out, maybe regulations state both players must GG, Psyarch will ultimately be the player who does win map number 1.
Okay, he looked like the stronger player, to be honest. Domingos, he had the idea of how to play Protoss, but I think there were some pretty substantial missed macros, missed timings in the gateways. He obviously, warped in slowly with his stalkers, and then they got shot by the Widow Mine. Not able to match, it seems, Psyarch's play here.
It hurts too. You see that medevac coming, you know it's on the way, and you realize you just don't have the tools to deal with it. Because that was a really great scout from the observer. Like, he was in position, he saw it, it just wasn't something handled perfectly. Hopefully he can clean up these mistakes, though, because let's be real, IP Domingos' mistakes were small and easily corrected.
They are. I think maybe there's some nerves even coming in here that he was a little mistimed. He did not use the appropriate pylon to warp in on. If you get something where, pros players, they only do that when they're nervous, right? You only build an Atosis pylon when you're nervous and you aren't thinking straight, so... Domingos might have a better chance.
Is that the one that's in control of all the buildings?
Yes, exactly. He famously made back in 2010, I think, when he first swapped over to Protoss.
I like this, by the way. I just realized there's that subtle graphic of the score in the background of this. You can see the 1-0. Very well done, AESF. I appreciate that. I may even try and take that idea.
Nice overlay. Yeah. Well, as I was saying, Domingos hasn't played in his map choice. Maybe it's something a little bit trickier to play on Dreamcatcher, but with the way he was playing, that style of Fast Colossus, I would say, is even scarier to me to play on a map like Dreamcatcher. You're defensive, you don't really get a lot of pressure done, so you're kind of asking to be concaved on or tank pushed. Yeah.
Well, of course, we'll be revisiting the videos and the picks in just a moment. Got to remind everybody what was chosen, but I am curious if it was a map thing or if it was a match-up thing. Because, again, these map picks are very, very intriguing. Dreamcatcher and Lost and Found. I'm actually not sure which one comes up next. I guess we'll find out here in just a second as we get ready to get into the game. But, oh man, Psyarch, well, I guess, is it Catalyst?
It's Catalyst?
I think that's, well, I guess it's not a loser's pick situation. That's my bad. Because I just realized, wait a minute, shouldn't it be the other way? But we'll find out again in just a sec. But Catalyst was Psyarch's pick, and if this is going to be Catalyst for game number 2, then Psyarch is going into this quite happy being up 1-0. If it ends up being Dreamcatcher, then Domingos has got his best chance to bring this back and maybe even return the favor here in this best of 3.
Right. I mean... sometimes the map choices, the map vetoes don't actually reflect as severely as sometimes as casters bring it up, right? Especially in, I guess, from the more of the amateur side, they're just yeah, I feel comfortable on this map. I don't really have any grand ideas to play on this map, but it is going to be that Dreamcatcher.
Yep. So top left is the blue Protoss Domingos.
And the bottom right has the red Terran, he is Psyarch.
And that means this is Domingos' map pick. So, maybe it isn't that big of a deal, but there's still that comfort level of this was the map I chose.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it comes down to. But it looks like Psyarch has some plans to deal with, not maybe being comfortable on this map. He didn't ban it, so I guess he's so comfortable. But he's not going to let Domingos really feel comfortable for very long.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't, I don't know how this will play out. It's unlikely to get scouted here, so I first off like the position. I would love this further because there's two ways to do this, right? You can proxy your barracks, you do the Reaper. We see him taking a gas back at home, so maybe it's nothing too crazy. But with the second gas, my favorite versions of this build are, of course, where you put the factory and the starport and everything across the field.
Right. We have seen very recently, in fact, a Marauder proxy with Cyclones as well. I mean, any version of that, those two units are quite scary for Protoss. And Domingos, he had some struggles against some pretty typical 2-base pressure. I'm quite worried how he's going to deal with the 1-base pressure Now he knows it's going to be a proxy. The scout is
Question mark? It's like, where's your buildings, man?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Dreamcatcher does have such a large main base, you could actually hide your barracks in the back like a normal building and make it look like a proxy, but that's not what's happening here. Domingos actually does a full roundabout in the main, so I think he saw everything but the very right side. I think it's safe to assume what's going on here, but unfortunately for me, Mr. Big Fan of Cheese here, the factory is being built at home for Psyark, so he's not going full proxy on this one.
Just a Reaper to start things off. He will bunker the natural, stop that from being placed down, and Domingos looked like he wanted to take it. If you can, micro your probes correctly and only take maybe 1 or 2 probe losses while getting a Nexus down and even go up straight to a Stargate, I think that you can put yourself in a pretty good position, but this is going really poorly on all fronts. He is going to lose a lot of probes. He did not go for follow-up Stargates and follow up another Gateway, which I don't know if that's really the best answer, and he doesn't have that Nexus.
This Reaper's getting some nice kills. Should be usually about 4 is what you get out of the Proxy Reaper. So it looks like he'll get at least that. But the Stalker pops out in time to kill the Reaper, so hey, that's the end. But 4 probes and a delayed natural base. So this opening worked out pretty well for Psyark, all things considered, because it was not committed.
I think it's pretty ideal for the Terran player to get 4. And if the Reaper had lived, that I just would have been
Icing on the cake.
bad. Yeah, but you did go for the second Reaper, so another probe kill might come around, but now that the Stalkers are out.
You know what? 1 or 2 Stalkers, and I think it's only 1 at the moment, does not contest a Cyclone. And this is going to be really awkward because the Reaper's going to be able to do a little bit of chasing, the Cyclone's going to be the big damage. If Psyark wanted to just push, he could really get in there.
I would not have minded if Psyark just continued building Marines from that proxy barracks.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Supplement the Cyclones. I mean, it'd only be 2 or maybe 3, right? But that's a little bit extra damage. That's a shot taken from the Stalker. I guess Psyark did see that it was the Gateway follow-up, so there's 2 Gateways pumping out units, and maybe he's thinking that a frontal pressure would not do well, especially because there is a natural ramp on Dreamcatcher. But in the same vein, he knows there's no Stargate sending an Oracle across.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's just doing a lot of damage.
I just love watching the Cyclone attack. I'm sorry. I know that was rude, but... Takes down the Stalker. Man, there's just no stopping this.
It's sad but true. Like, I think his chronos go more into the gateways, and also he has skipped production on one or the other multiple times. I think he holds us no problems. He probably has like 4 Stalkers at this point, and the Nexus can take heat for a little while. Instead, he's losing them one at a time, building them one at a time, not starting his Relic Council tech either. Psyark is just getting ahead so far in this game.
On that note, too, I'm really shocked to see that he was focusing the Nexus for this. Getting up to the main, he probably could have killed a Pylon by now, the one that's powering the Gateway specifically. Not to overly critique him, he's doing quite well, but it's just strange to see one Cyclone focus on the Nexus like that. It did get low, though, so these follow-up 2 that are coming out to meet him in the middle of the map, he could knock this down pretty easily, I think.
I gotta expect that because he was thinking of making more Cyclones, he wants 3 Cyclones instead of just 2, had the 1 died because he saw, again, 2 Gateways. There should have been 3 Stalkers waiting on that high ground when we knew there was only 1. Yeah. So this was the safer call, and now he has 3 Cyclones, which can take on 5 Stalkers if the grenade hits too. The 1 Cyclone was weak though, and that's nice focus fire from Domingos, and he's starting to micro back too, but as you can see, the Cyclone still went out.
Yeah, the type of unit this is just a little too strong. He's focusing on, the Pylon's not touching the Nexus, so it's a slow warp in.
I wonder, no. I wouldn't want to delve too deep into this Pylon positioning. That was nice micro. If it wasn't for the last game as well, is Domingos a player that's maybe come back? Maybe he didn't play a lot of Legacy of the Void. These are pretty substantial things to not go for in Legacy of the Void, the correct proxy pylons.
That Cyclone living with like 1 health is super just demoralizing, I think, for Domingos. Yeah. Finally gets it. There's the personal victory.
I think this follow-up of Cyclones is kind of tough no matter what Domingos does. Well, maybe if he gets on a Immortal, it's not that tough. But had he defended the first Cyclone better and gotten a decent number of Stalkers, the Blink Stalker counter can be difficult to deal with. But that's just, that was never going to happen. GG, smiley face.
I like the cheeky little happy face. He knows what's up. I think he's probably happy he got to play. This is a cool tournament to be competing in. And there's Psyark with the very polite GG as well. And I think we're about to see this game come to a conclusion as there's no more power to any buildings. Yikes.
Nope, that's going to be it. GG. 2-0.
Yeah, congratulations, Psyark. And of course, Japan.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is GTR. It's an absolute honour to be casting these preliminary games of the Asian Games StarCraft 2 tournament that will be happening later this year. Of course, these are only the preliminaries. 8 players from these preliminaries from 5 different regions will be advancing on to the Grand Finals located in Jakarta, Indonesia later on this year. We've got another game here from the East Asian region preliminary. This will be Gogo Joey, 22 years old, from Hong Kong, playing as Zerg against Maru, 21-year-old Korean Terran player. Now let's look at the map ban and pick stage. The rules for the ban and pick is the same as WCS tournaments globally all around the world. So each player gets to ban 2 maps, while the player gets to pick 1 map to play on if they lose the first game. In this case, the first map will be on Dreamcatcher. If Gogo Joey loses this game, we'll be going onto Acid Plant. If Maru loses this game, we will be going onto Catalyst. The bans for each player: Maru banning 16-bit and Darkness Sanctuary, Gogo Joey banning Lost and Found and Redshift. No surprises with Maru's bans, banning Darkness Sanctuary, a very large 4-player map, very good for Zerg, and 16-bit being a new map in the map pool. It is also not being played in the GSL tournament, which he is still in right now. And with that, let's get into this game. Here at the bottom left as the Blue Zerg for Hong Kong, Gogo Joey. And at the bottom right as the Red Terran from Korea Republic, Maru. Dreamcatcher, a very large map. And we can see here 2 SCVs actually being sent out very early for Maru. I guess you could say this is a bit of a trademark, but oh no, Gogo Joey might have actually scouted the SCV with that Overlord that was going towards the base of Maru. I'm actually not sure whether Gogo Joey scouted that or not. We can only tell whether he scouted that by if he puts down... Okay, he's going to put down the hatchery first. So I guess he did not catch it, but Maru was very sensitive to find out the Overlord before Gogo Joey paid attention to the SCV being on the map. And there we go, we've got 2 barracks. Are we actually going to see a 3rd barracks? Yes, we are. So Maru being extremely aggressive here with the first game of this best of 3 series between the 2 players. We can see here Gogo Joey with a very interesting spawning pool placement, actually placing it rather at the top of his base. And with the first barracks out here for Maru, he is going to get a lot of damage done rallying those Marines to the expansion. There's the bunker. Oh, poor Gogo Joey doesn't even get to see the bunker being placed down for Maru. Here comes the SCV from Maru. It's going to scout everything that Gogo Joey is doing at the moment. Even scouts that spawning pool being placed up there. Alright, and here comes the first couple of Marines pelting down their rifles onto that hatchery. Oh, Gogo Joey actually opts to go for a quick Roach Warren to reflect this attack rather than going for Speedlings. And with these 2 Zerglings coming out, this is not enough here from Gogo Joey. Gogo Joey has to give up this expansion. Oh, he tries to run by, but Maru completely on top of it. It's really bad from Gogo Joey. He has no units to defend from this attack. The Queen is just spawned. Really nice timing here from Maru actually getting into the base of Gogo Joey before that Queen at the expansion spawned out of there. A very healthy Marine count here from Maru. Gogo Joey doesn't really have much to work with. He's got these Zerglings, he's got drones, he's got 1 Queen. Some Roaches are being hatched out from those lava. At least Gogo Joey has pushed... No, I don't think he actually has cleaned that up. Okay, yes he has. But the damage has been done Go Joey. He's only got 12 workers. Murray's got 19 workers. First Ravager has been morphed though from Go Joey, but with the amount of damage, this Marine actually makes it in. Yeah, the damage here from Maru is pretty good. And the Ravager can only do so much in his bunker, but once that bunker goes into the red, Maru can just easily salvage that. And honestly, with this Marine count, I think Maru can just run up and kill off the Ravager. I mean, we can see there, as I said before, the bunker going in red. Nice move there from Maru, just jukes back. And the Ravager goes down for this queen. GG! Maru, very nice play there from him. He will take out that first match, a very quick match on Dreamcatcher. Oh yeah, so that was a really interesting game because I thought for a second that Go Joey with that Overlord that was going directly to Maru's base would have caught the SUV in its vision, but it looks like in this case Maru saw the Overlord scout before Go Joey could catch the SUV, and as a result Maru moved his proxy position to a spot where Go Joey was not going to scout. As a result, Go Joey is down 1 game here. Maru with his trademark proxy Raxes getting the victory there for him. But as I mentioned before, it could have been a completely different game if Go Joey saw the SUV and he decided to go for a quicker pull rather than going for the early hatchery. So we're just getting ready to go into our next game. I believe the next map that we will be playing on is Acid Plant, as that was Go Joey's choice of map in the case that he would lose the first game. So we're just waiting on to the match to start. Yeah, so Go Joey, Masters rank on career, so he's no slouch at all. Maru though, GSL champion, world champion, one of the best Terran players at the moment in the world. It's always a very exciting time to see him in action. Go Joey, one of the best players from Hong Kong, along with Beastalk, who is a Protoss player, and indeed Go Joey did pick Acid Plant as the next map in the case that he lost the first game. So in the case that Go Joey takes the victory in this set, we will be going on to Catalyst, which was Maru's pick, in the case that he loses a match. Once again, the bans from both players, Maru banning both 16-bit and Darkness Sanctuary, Go Joey banning Lost and Found and Redshift. Alright, so we're just waiting on both these players and waiting for the game to start. Once again, this is the preliminary round for the East Asian region for the Asian Games in Jakarta, Indonesia later on this year. A historic event for not only esports but sports in general, as esports will be a demonstration event for the Asian Games. And let's get into this. Spawning here at the top left as the Blue Zerg representing Hong Kong, Go Joey. And at the bottom right as the Red Terran for Korea Republic, Maru. And once again, we've got the 2 early SUVs coming out here from Maru. Clearly, he feels very confident in his proxy racks play, and will place the first barracks there, just out of sight of the Overlord. Unlike last game, manages to catch the Overlord, catching his SUV, and moved his proxy positioning as appropriate, but it looks like in this case, Go-Go Joey deciding to not deviate from the standard scouting pattern for Zerg players on this map, and Maru exploiting that fact. And actually we've got a really quick refinery here from Maru, so you might be seeing quick Reapers here as opposed to Marine play. We didn't see Maru adding in a third barracks to his proxy like we did in that first game on Dreamcatcher. Obviously not enough gas for Maru to get that Reaper out as soon as possible, so he's going to get that Marine out first. Let's see if he decides to plop down that bunker. Yes, he does, but Go-Go Joey, he's got that Overlord sitting there at the spot. And oh, look at all these drones coming out here from Go-Go Joey. He does not want a situation that happened in that previous game on Dreamcatcher. That is what, 4, 8, 10 drones hitting that bunker. Too many drones for Maru to deal with right now, so he's going to play it safe. He's going to place a bunker slightly further back from the main, from the expansion hatchery of Go-Go Joey. Go-Go Joey, getting that queen out as soon as possible. You need that queen along with those Zerglings to defend from any sort of quick pressure from a proxy barracks. Alright, there's a spine crawler being placed down right behind the hatchery. It's going to be very hard for Maru to eliminate it with these Marines. Alright, we've got these Marines just hitting onto this hatchery. He's actually added a factory as well, so it's not a complete proxy all-in here from Maru, just some 2 racks pressure. Doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing those Reapers. Looks like he's going to use that gas onto the factory as, oh, these Zerglings getting some hits onto the bunker, but it's not enough. The Marines in the bunker, along with the additional reinforcements from those proxy barracks, are enough to kill off a majority of Go-Go Joey's Zerglings. And Go-Go Joey is actually trying to plant down his spine crawler in a favorable position. Go-Go Joey with the Zerglings, the drones, the SCVs, repairing the bunker. The spine crawler, however, is planted down there right in front of the bunker. A lot of Zerglings being wasted onto this bunker. Moves back. Let's see if he gets a salvage off. No, he doesn't. And Maru actually opting to salvage both of his bunkers. And we've got an armory here from Maru, so we might see some quick Hellbats from Maru from that factory. I'm not really sure if there's an add-on at that factory. We do see some Hellions being built right now. If they, yep, so it is going to be reacted Hellions with the armory being produced as well. We'll be seeing those turn into Hellbats anytime soon after that armory is completed. Got the force of Marines here just sitting at the front of the base of Go-Go Joey. Doesn't really need to push in right now. He's just waiting for those Hellions to join up with the forces of those Marines. Those Hellbats, once added to that army composition. Okay, there we go. Here comes the Hellbats tanking the damage here of those Zerglings and spine crawlers. The splash damage of those Hellions doing a lot of damage, eliminating all those Zerglings of Go-Go Joey. Fortunately for Go-Go Joey, the speed upgrades are only halfway done as well. You need that speed upgrade to help those flanks against the attacks from the Hellion and Marines. And here comes another attack here from Maru, the Hellbat, once again tanking all of those spine crawler hits along with the Zerglings. There should be enough queens though, along with these 2 Zerglings to defend. No, it's not. Oh, nice transfuse there though, keeps the queen alive. But here, Go-Go Joey's just bleeding way too many Zerglings to these Marines at the moment. Another Hellbat joins the force of Maru, but oh, he's actually getting Cyclones as well. Very nice move there from him. Those Cyclones will help a lot against the queens of Go-Go Joey. Go-Go Joey finally scouting what Maru's doing. And really interesting move here is actually getting the +1 ground weapons as well as the expansions, so in the case that this attack fails, he could just fall back. And with those Hellbats, he knows that the only option that Go-Go Joey has at the moment is Speed Zergling, so Hellbats will completely wreck him. Okay, here comes an attack here from Maru. Very quick job there done by the Spinecrawler along with the Zerglings, eliminating all the Hellbats there from Maru's army, but these Cyclones just giving a lot of damage onto that Spinecrawler. Drones come out here from Go-Go Joey, a lot of damage, but nothing has been killed yet. Okay, there's Spinecrawler. Spinecrawler goes down. These Queens as well. Really nice positioning here from Maru. Just able to funnel those Zerglings and those drones into that gap between the Geyser and the hatchery. These Hellions doing a lot of damage at the moment. And even though Maru's army has been eliminated, 9 drones were killed in that exchange. So everything's looking quite good here for Maru so far. Alright, so we got a starport, we got the tech lab on it. He's actually going for the medivac. I thought he would have gone for some sort of cloak banshee, given the fact that Go-Go Joey is very behind on his tech. But it looks like he wants to get the medivacs out, either to do the medivac drop with those Hellions, as the observer has indicated, or most likely he's going to use the medivac to use to heal these Hellbats. Cyclone being built from, well, Cyclone that was built, eliminating this Overlord from the base of Maru. Got another factory going down for Maru, so it's going to be a complete mech build. The +1 weapons for those mech units is finally done for Maru. And this is unfortunate for Go-Go Joey. He sees the tech lab on the starport, so he immediately assumes that it's going to be Banshee, but Maru completely faking out Go-Go Joey here. Go-Go Joey, he's got actually a nice healthy amount of Queens at the moment, so any sort of drop play here from Maru should be deflected quite nicely from Go-Go Joey, those Queens. Oh, okay. Some cute move there from Maru. Tries to take advantage of the range of those Hellions to try and get those hits onto those Zerglings from the low ground. Alright, and here come the Hellbats with these Cyclones, and I think the tankiness of these Hellions should be able to eliminate these Queens along with the Cyclones. Let's see how it goes with the Medivac. See if Go-Go Joey decides to try and take out the Medivac first, or he tries to take out the Cyclone first, or the Hellbats. Let's see how this goes. Alright, the Queen's stuck here. The Baneling actually trying to get in, gets a piece of the action, a few hits, but these mech units are so tanky at the moment. Also with the +1 ground weapons, completely shredding these Queens. And GG, Maru taking out the series against Go-Go Joey 2-0. With that result, Maru does take the 2 points in his preliminary group for the East Asian region. Very convincing play there from Maru. Congratulations to him.
Alright, here we are for a fresh best of 3. Protoss versus Protoss here in the Asian Electronic Sports Federation, AESF, the 18th Asian Games. I'm Rifkin, bringing this series with, of course, none other than Zombie Grub.
Hello.
How are you doing, Zombie Grub?
I'm perfectly fine. How are you?
I'm doing just dandy. Fighting back a smirk because I'm very excited about the games that are about to happen here. It's, as I said, a best of 3 PvP featuring 2 players, Nice and IP Domingos.
Yeah, Nice is a player we see a lot, has performed quite well in the past of the StarCraft 2 tournaments, and certainly a name to look out for, so I do give him the edge. against Domingos. Apparently, he's an older fellow, 35. He's one of the oldest players you get to see nowadays in, well, any esport.
Yeah, that feel when your opponent is almost half your age.
Almost. That's, I guess thankfully he's not half his age. That would just feel really bad.
Well, we're hopping right into the map picks and bans. The first map is going to be on Catalyst, but some interesting bans out of these players.
Yeah, Protoss banning 16-bit. That is nice. Banning 16-bit. Okay, I guess. I mean, it's going to be a PvP, right? So things are going to be a little bit different map order, map decision-wise. And it kind of actually just comes down to, what are you comfortable on many a time. So the Domingos bans Darkness Sanctuary, which is really no surprise. I expect to see a lot of people banning that, regardless of race.
Yeah, this tournament or any other tournament, Darkness Sanctuary and Redshift are definitely the least picked maps, and will probably be the most vetoed throughout the course of events. But Domingos vetoing Lost and Found I find kind of interesting. I feel like it's a very normal map, nothing too dangerous about it, especially for PvP.
Yeah, but it is, with the new season always comes, you have your standard new maps, like Lost and Found, which has become the standard new map along with 16-bit. And then you have your older maps, like Acid Plant and Catalyst, that still sneak their way in there, even if you didn't necessarily like Acid Plant, you're familiar with it. It's Dreamcatcher being chosen here as opposed to Lost and Found or 16-bit. That's surprising to me.
Well, looks like things are about to start off, and kicking it off down here to the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss. It's nice.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Domingos.
That was like the perfect camera pan to the other Nexus, by the way. Like, it was exactly centered. Very impressed. Good job to the observer.
Yeah, pro observer here, I guess. Well, Domingo's already doing things a little bit weird. Nice, as we're talking about, has just been performing very well. Has definitely represented his country very well. But, and some of that is in PvP. Definitely knows what he's doing. Domingo's, I don't know. Already just the pylon not being at the front on the ramp is a little bit like, okay, how good is he at this matchup?
Yeah, PvP can be really fickle. There's not a lot of variation in terms of what you can safely get away with. You're either going all in with some cheese or you're playing it pretty close to the vest. We've, of course, seen a lot of really great players, be it from Korea or Europe or wherever, but the PvPs all tend to be about the same for the openings. They really diverge later when it's unit choice. Do you like Archons and Zealots? Most people do, but some people like Immortals more.
Yeah, that's certainly true, but I don't even know about the mid game here. The opener, continuing on, Domingos, not putting that pylon down to block, but also not going for a second gateway. Now, there are gateway expand builds that you'll see from other pros, and they try and get away with it. It's kind of a greedy build, right? But you still, I think, want a wall off just to stop any adepts from shading in, and he's not going to have the ability here.
I would argue that the lack of a wall off could be mitigated by your production, but the fact that that second gateway comes down so late, especially after scouting what's going on. Nice only needs to do a standard opener, just either 2 stalkers for safety, or you can be a little bit more risky with 2 adepts. But the reality is Domingos probably won't have units to properly fight him when it comes to this early game harass, and that's where I get a little worried for him. Yeah,
I'm really worried. Of course, Nice sees all this as well. Yeah, very good scouting in the early game with your probe. Yeah, he's going to go for the adepts. I mean, this is his plan anyways, but now that he sees there's no wall off, these things are almost guaranteed to get damage done just because they will have access to the main, and if there's ever a natural there too.
Yeah, I think the key thing is, while stalkers are perhaps slightly more expensive and the safer option, they don't have that worker killing potential that adepts do. And I mean, in a mere matchup, having a similar worker count is huge. Losing 4, 8, sometimes 12 probes early on, that could be where the game comes to an end.
Mm-hmm. I guess Domingos did eventually get up to the production that you want, although it was a little bit of a wonkier setup. Usually you see what Nice does. And he is getting into a Robo, which would, I say, generally be a very safe move. But what the Robo doesn't give you, if you're not producing from your 2 gateways constantly, is a lot of units, unless he's going to build an Immortal immediately. And even then, does it really help chase down adepts?
I like that proxy pylon out of Nice, too. I think he's realizing he's going to have a lot of options here, especially with that Stargate coming in, whether it's an Oracle or anything, frankly. Domingos won't be able to deal with it. Adept's already picking up 3 workers, 4 probes, looking for a 5th, maybe a 6th. It's going to be tight, and he gets it. Yeah. Nice.
He's actually going to cancel the shade and just get a 7th.
I mean, I
don't think he gets an 8th. Okay, yeah.
He got away with so much from this. 7 worker kills this early in a PvP is massive. Maybe not exactly game ending, but it leads to something being game ending, because anything else dies here, there's no recovery.
I mean, I think it is game ending. There's a reason. I actually got flashbacks at the beginning of Legacy of the Void, back when adepts were being changed left, right, and center, right? But the core concept was that we had a lot of like weird base trains. You go mass adepts, or someone would proxy a Stargate, and then that would literally determine how PvP was played. It was a wild, wild west. But there's a reason that it evolved to what it is now, and like you are not supposed to let the adepts in unless you're also doing damage, like in a weird, again, base trade. Not the case here, and I guess speaking of Stargates, Nice did go for one before his Nexus, so the pressure is going to be applied on multiple fronts.
The Warp Prism Magic Micro might be something we would consider if it was even close to being done. Unfortunately, not the case, and as the Stalkers get drawn towards the Oracle, the Stalkers of Nice move in through the front, and it's just a numbers game at this point, folks.
The wall, if it was there, wouldn't have lasted long anyways. There's just a lot of Stalkers, and he really would have loved to have a shield battery in general.
Look at that micro. It's really nice.
Nice. Fortunately, Domingo, especially using that War Prism, that is going to be it. If you had an Immortal pumped out first, there's a maybe, but he went for the War Prisms.
I think there's something to be talked about for build order, but this game really highlights the importance of Sim City. Not having that wall at the front, the classic shield battery block to stop the adepts. It wasn't even a close call. Domingos just simply loses, and there's the tap out. GG. Nice walks away with a very clean map 1 in this best of 3.
Yeah, I think Domingos still has some things to learn, perhaps, about PvP. I think you'd have to be someone extremely, extremely good. I mean, like top tier GSL contender to do that type of opener like he did, and for us to be like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I don't know. Unless you're that level, I think it's just maybe you don't really know what makes a PvP, So I'm worried that Domingos might just also flounder in the second game.
Well, we'll see if recovery is one of his strengths, or if it will simply be a 2-0. Either way, as we can see with the very nice graphic here, 1-0 for Nice. I'm happy about this too, because Nice is a player we are familiar with. He plays in international tournaments, he does a lot of online things, and it's really cool to see his representation here in the 18th Asian Games.
Yeah, it is, of course. I mean, it's really cool to see Domingos play and get a chance to play. I don't see many people from this country, but it's not looking good so far. And we are into the next map, which I believe is going to be Domingos' pick, which would be Acid Plant.
Hopefully the map will help contour to his playstyle. I'm still rooting for Dreamcatcher. I have really fallen in love with this map. I've only played a few games on the ladder with it, but I've enjoyed every one, including the ones I've lost, which have been the majority of them. I think there's cool potential for it, but we'll have to go to game 3 likely to see if that ends up being the case.
Right, exactly. It's like either no matter what map it is, unless it was some type of. No, I can't actually think of a map that it would be. No, you got to wall off that ramp, even if it was 16-bit, for instance, and you had a back natural. The point is, you still got to wall off that ramp, even if you're going to go for a Nexus or your own one base. Well, you can definitely see how important it is when it's not walled off.
Of course, these are the regional qualifiers, which is cool, so there's no big bucks on the line just yet. Nobody's playing for that first place slot. You can afford to make a mistake or two, but hopefully not too many. Last thing you want is your tournament life to come to an end before it really gets going, but here we are hopping into map number 2, Nice versus IP Domingos. Spotting to the bottom right, once again, we have the blue Protoss. It's Nice.
And in the top left, as the red Protoss, he is Domingos.
I'm still unsure whether I should be saying IP Domingos or just Domingos. Domingos sounds like a real name, though.
I don't know about a real name, but IP Domingos sounds like a clan to me.
Internet
Or
Protocol.
Or maybe it's IPD Amingos.
His name is Amingos. Oh man, this is blowing my mind right now.
We would not know.
I'm worried already. For IP Domingos, obviously we're rooting for both players here. We want to see the best player advance, but his opening for building, once again, leaves a lot of the same weaknesses, openings, and holes in his defense that will likely be, for lack of a better phrase, exploited once again.
I think that's a good word to use. So it looks like maybe he checked out the build order of his opponents, between the games, and has gone for the second gateway at a more appropriate time. So at least that much is looking better, but still undervaluing the wall off. Like the actual wall off here, this is still going to allow all the attempts to go through. And if it is a little bit closer to the fronts, it's not. Yeah, you should be copying what Nice is doing.
Now, Nice, of course, is going to get a scout here in just a moment to see what's happening. What do you think? Does he go with the Adepts again blindly? Some players really like that move, regardless.
I mean, it's not even that blind, right? Like he's going to see once again. Hey. The Adepts could probably get in and kill probes, and it really sucks though for Protoss. It's not just like Adepts are good; it's more like everything else doesn't attack fast enough. It's like the same problem when Protoss face Terrans and they make Hellions. You just don't have a lot of units in the early game. The units you have, so kind of like the Adepts, especially a little bit slow on the actual attack, and just it's about high power, low DPS, right? Or low speed. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So it's frustrating to deal with, and you might as well just pylon block it to make sure it doesn't happen. But if you let them in, it doesn't matter if you have 2 or even 4 stalkers or 2 stalkers and 2 adepts like that. If they focus fire correctly, their adepts are going to get probes.
It's about things dying is the summary, I believe, of that statement.
Well, it's about the speed of things dying, like
Gotta go fast.
If you kill the adepts fast enough, you have 20 Marines, well then who cares about getting main base?
So, of course, for those who may be more unfamiliar with the PvP matchup, you don't understand how the units work as well as these players do. One of the key things is the Adept Transfer, that little ghost it shoots out. It can move through units, it can move through force fields, but it cannot move through buildings. So part of why we're really harping on the Sim City here is the fact that you could totally deny these. You wouldn't even have them in your base in the first place. But once again, these are going to easily pick up at least 4 or so probes. He went up for 7. We'll see if he can beat his high score.
And unfortunately for the Mangos, you can't micro the probes away. They were getting 2-shotted. If you had a shield battery and it was a little bit off, maybe he is going to get 8.
8! He does it! 8 the great for Nice.
That is really great start for Nice, who is also going to be adding on that Oracle once again. And then actually going for a Nexus this time too. Not going to proxy any pylons, but the Oracle could get a lot of damage on. The Stalkers might try and move out to the natural in preparation of taking a Nexus, and there'll be nothing to protect the main.
This is an unwritten expansion rule of PvP where you have to play chicken with your opponent. If you see they've got an expansion, you got to slap yours down, stop what you're doing, and match it, or you're going to fall really far behind. The problem is, Domingos is setting up for what should be an all-in, especially with this extra gateway coming down, but truthfully, we look at the army supply count, and it's Nice is keeping up. I don't think a defense is going to be out of the question.
Yeah, if Domingos gets an Immortal, then I guess his type of army is better, and his Stalkers are the main, by the way, so the Oracle is just not going to get very much done. He's going to sack it, maybe? No, he's trying to fly to the back. Lots of dead space on NASA plant.
Nice. Nice break here for Domingos, too, by the way, to reduce that damage. That's something that really could have just gone out of control, but still down by 10 workers and a whole expansion. I mean, there's no Immortal coming out of this. It's a Warp Prism, and whether you're the best Korean Protoss or whether you're IP Domingos, you're not going to win this game with just a Warp Prism.
No, unfortunately. It'd be a really wonky state of affairs there. Oh gosh, the Oracles. It's almost the same problem with the Depths. Like the Stalkers really have to be like in prime position as soon as the Oracles get in, because you can see they weren't that far off. They just don't kill the Oracles fast enough, or they're either the Oracles kill the probes too fast. Either way, so 8 more probes go down.
Of course, with less income for our red Protoss means he won't even be able to use all of his production efficiently. Yes, you'll have a Warp Prism. You're hoping to warp in a whole army, but you can only suddenly warp in with 2 out of those 3 gates. Because you just don't have the cash for that 3rd Stalker. Meanwhile, there's not just 1 or 2. There's a 3rd shield battery coming down. Couple this with a Guardian Shield, and there's just no chance IP Domingos is going to break Nice. All Nice has to do is deflect this to win the game, and he should be able to do this, especially as long as he sits within those shield batteries. But, oh, this is a nice cheeky move. He does manage to make use of his whole bank to get 3 warp-ins.
Yeah, kind of an odd mixture of units, though. 4 Stalkers, 1 shot a probe, 2 and a Zealot, or even they're working against each other. He distracted the Zealot with the Stalkers. Oh, feels bad. Oh, it feels even worse. Just move commanding to the front when there's already a lot of shield batteries.
Oh, that's gonna be a yikes from me, Zombie Grub.
That's a game. That's a game. That's what it is. I do believe Domingos is also, he's gonna have trouble defending against the Oracles. Is the
they can just kill the Stalker.
They
can ignore it.
You're right.
They can just ignore it too.
Either way. That's this is looking like a 2-0 for Nice, which I mean, cool that Domingo shows up and like
He's only less than 2 adepts. Are you serious? No
gosh.
probes died in that stalker attack? GG. Ladies and gentlemen, taking this serious, this zombie grew upset with a very nice 2-0. True to his name, it's nice.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is GTR. I'm here to provide English commentary for the preliminary section of the Asian Games event for StarCraft 2. 8 players in total from these preliminaries from all the different regions of Asia will be qualifying to the Grand Finals, which will be located in Jakarta, Indonesia in a few months' time. This match coming up will be Go-Go Joey, Zerg player from Hong Kong, against Radnatsaran, Protoss player from Mongolia. This should be a good match. Go-Go Joey, one of the stronger players from Hong Kong region. I believe he's up there with the likes of Beastalk, who is a Protoss player. And Radnatsaran, I'm not too familiar with. I assume that he's one of the top players in Mongolia, along with Sioris, who is a Zerg player from there as well. As we go into the map picks and bans, the process for picking and banning is the exact same as it is for WCS global tournaments that are happening across the world. Each player gets to ban 2 maps, and then pick 1 map out of those 3 maps that are left over, with the leftover map that wasn't picked, the first map of the series. As we can see on screen, Dreamcatcher will be the first map, and then Go-Go Joey's pick is Catalyst, while Radnatsaran's pick is Darkness Sanctuary. Quite surprising to see Darkness Sanctuary being picked as the choice for Radnatsaran. Generally, as a 4-player map with very easy to access expansions, you don't really want to play that map against a Zerg player. And let's get into the first game of this series. Spawning here at the top left as Blue Zerg, Go-Go Joey. And at the bottom right as the red Protoss, Radnatsaran. Alright, so looks like we're going to see Radnatsaran build the pylon at the expansion ramp rather than the main base ramp. Meanwhile, Go-Go Joey looks like he's just droning up at the moment. Nothing too out of the ordinary for him. Dreamcatcher, a very large map, allows for proxy plays to be done on here. Looks like Radnatsaran's probe doesn't get to the base in time, so he's not going to be able to block out that hatchery that's being built at the expansion. And a very quick nexus here from Radnatsaran. I actually like this move from him. He scouts the fact that Go-Go Joey's not going for an early spawning pool, so he knows that Zergling pressure isn't coming. He also knows that the map is so large that even if there was an early spawning pool, he can easily get some buildings up to help wall off that expansion. So really nice play there from Radnatsaran to recognize the situation that was in right now. And as necessary, there is the gateway to help start off that wall at the expansion ramp. The ramp obviously is slightly bigger than the main base ramp, so you want to get going on forming that as soon as possible. And we'll see if he's getting a forge. Okay, he's just going to get another pylon, so there we go, another pylon and another gateway actually, so wants to get those buildings up as soon as possible to help formulate that wall, trying to get that 1 pixel or 1 unit gap as quickly as possible for him to block off the ramp. Go-Go Joey in the meantime has the Overlord sitting right above the expansion. There's a Cybernetic core as well, so that will formulate the rest of the wall for Radnutzerin. Alright, we've got the first Zergling coming out here for Go-Go Joey. He's going to completely scout both the rest of the expansion from Radnutzerin as well as possibly the main base. Okay, there we go. The Zergling running into the main base of Radnutzerin. Looks like the low HP of that Zergling is going to keep that Zealot of Radnutzerin just sitting there. Doesn't want any more further run-bys to come in. Warp Gate and these Adepts are being chrono boosted out here for Radnutzerin, so try to get those Adepts out to deflect any sort of further Zergling pressure if it is to come to it. Also got the shield battery there from Radnutzerin. That will help out in the case that Go-Go Joey does decide to go for some sort of Zergling bust. Be able to heal those units up. Had a quick robo here from Radnutzerin actually. Probably wants to get quick War Prism out, do some harassment. Most of the time in this matchup as a Protoss player, you'd want to get the quick Stargate to get the Oracle out, get some harassment done, get some scouting done. But in this case, looks like Radnutzerin is deciding to go for the alternative, which is going for the robotics facility. Alright, the first couple of Adepts are out here for for Radnutzerin rather. Let's see how much he can do with this force. Another 2 Adepts join up. Grabs 1 Crypt Tumor that was being morphed in, but doesn't get the other 2. And it looks like we've got a Roach Warren coming in from Go-Go Joey. He's also got a lot of roaches being built right now. I don't see any drones in the production tab, so it looks like he's trying to go for some sort of all-in with these 42 workers that he has at the moment. Oh, he gets the shade in the back. 2 Adepts of Radnutzerin actually get a favorable position. Oh no, he tries to move these Adepts forward, and all these roaches and Zerglings along with the Queens just get free hits onto those Adepts. It's really bad here from Radnutzerin. Very unfortunate that he loses those Adepts. He needs as many units as he can hold on to defend from this Roachling all-in here from Go-Go Joey. And it looks like Radnutzerin's preparing right now. He's getting the Immortal. Ravage is being morphed in from Go-Go Joey. This Immortal's essential for the defense of Radnutzerin's base. First cannon is going down, but here come the units of Go-Go Joey. Zerglings trying to get in here through the Zealot. The Zealot perishes. And these Zerglings getting a surround onto the army of Radnutzerin, the Ravages as well, with those corrosive biles taking down the force field that was placed down from the sentry of Radnutzerin. Go-Go Joey just waltzing through the hole. Cybernetics Core goes down as well. That means no more Stalkers, no more Adepts for Radnutzerin rather. GG. Go-Go Joey taking out that first set on Dreamcatcher. And Go-Go Joey with a very convincing victory there over Radnutzerin. Once those 4 Adepts died of Radnutzerin, Go-Go Joey saw an opportunity to just rally units over and eliminate Radnutzerin from that game. As a result, Go-Go Joey is up 1-0 over his opponent Radnutzerin from Mongolia. If he wins the next game, he will be taking home the 2 points for his preliminary group of East Asia. Once again, my name is GTR. I will be providing English commentary for some of these preliminary stage games of the Asian Games. A historic moment here for not only esports but sports in general, as esports will be a demonstration event at the Asian Games for the very first time in Asian Games history. Asia being known for a very strong esports region. Obviously we have Korea, but we also have China, also Chinese Taipei, Japan as well, but in the fighting game / arcade scene rather. It's great to see all these players from all across Asia participating in these preliminary matches It's always exciting to see new people from regions and places that you never expect to play StarCraft 2. Alright, so just going back to the map pick and ban phase. Once again, Go Joey banning 16-bit and Lost and Found. Radnartran deciding to ban Acid Plant and Redshift, with Go Joey's victory in that first map on Dreamcatcher. We will be going into Radnartran's pick, which will be Darkness Sanctuary. In the case that Radnartran wins the next match on Darkness Sanctuary, we'll be going straight into Catalyst, which is Go Joey's pick. Alright, so we're just waiting on the game to start. Go Joey is up 1-0. If he takes this game on Darkness Sanctuary, he will be taking home 2 points and the victory for his preliminary group. 2 players from the East Asian region will be advancing onto the grand final stage. 8 players in total from this preliminary stage from 5 regions of Asia, I believe, will be advancing on to the grand finals. And let's get into this second set. Spawning here at the bottom right as the blue Zerg from Hong Kong, Go Joey. And here at the bottom left as the red Protoss from Mongolia, Radnartran. So once again, we've got the pylon at the top of the expansion ramp from Radnartran. Same process as the previous game on Dreamcatcher. And oh, we've got very quick gas as well as a very quick spawning pool from Go Joey. And ooh, it's really bad here from Radnartran. Even though he's going to scout first, Go Joey's Overlord scouts the probe. And with that knowledge that he sees the probe, he definitely knows that Radnartran will be spawning at the bottom left. So no dilly-dallying with his initial set of Zerglings. He'll be rallying them straight to the bottom left. And the spawning pool has completed. We've got the first 2 Zerglings actually from Go Joey. I thought he'd be building a bit more, but looks like he's just... Okay, there we go. Another 2 being built from Go Joey. Speed upgrade, as expected, from him. Speed link upgrade as well from Go Joey. He's probably gonna apply as much pressure as possible onto Radnartran. He's got the Queen out. I believe he'll be using that for lava injection, trying to get as many Zerglings out as possible. And oh, quick forge from Radnartran, so he should be able to get both the Zealot and the cannon up in time to block this attack here from Go Joey. Let's see if Go Joey can actually break through this Zealot. Okay, no he doesn't. And the cannon goes up here for Radnartran, so very good adaptation there from Radnartran, recognizing that the Go Joey decided to go for a quick speedling build. Gets that forge up as soon as possible. Cannon will deflect the attack. Given the placement of that cannon though, if Go Joey gets enough Zerglings, he could just simply break through that cannon and break through into the main base of Radnartran. Looks like Radnartran here, bit concerned of some further cheat shenanigans. He is patrolling that probe on the top side. Perhaps he's afraid of some sort of Nidus canal play. Nidus worm. I should correct myself there. And we've got a quick Baneling nest from Go Joey, so it looks like it's going to be a Zergling Baneling bust. Let's see how well Radnartran's defense is. He's actually getting 2 shield batteries. Loves those shield batteries, Radnartran. As well as another cannon. I do like that placement of that cannon there on the right side. It's not going to be able to be hit by Zerglings until the gateway's taken out. And here comes the morphing of the Banelings. Right now, Red Nitron's playing very defensive. Doesn't really feel confident so far with what he's seen at the moment. So, really nice move there from Go Joey. He uses those Zerglings to bait away those Adepts. There's Banelings coming in. Massive damage onto the wall. Doesn't actually kill anything though. The shield battery doing its job, keeping that cannon alive. But the overall damage output of these Zerglings just might be too much here for Radnatron to deal with. Here comes the shield batteries running out of energy. The Zerglings coming in, breaking through the gateway and the cannon. The shield battery on very low HP, but it doesn't really matter because there's no energy on both of them. And right now, Go Joey is just rallying Zerglings into the base of Radnatron. Radnatron doesn't really have much to work with right now. It's got this one Adept, two Adepts. This Adept is trying to do their best job of holding on to this game, but Go Joey's got Zerglings morphing into Banelings right in the base of Radnatron. These Banelings actually get into the main base. Let's see if he gets some juicy hits on the probe line. There we go, one probe just doing a love tap. Okay, 3 probes killed, but doesn't look good. GG, Radnatron loses. Go Joey is the winner as a result of that victory there. Go Joey gets 2 points in his preliminary group for the East Asian region. Congratulations to Go Joey, 2-0 over Radnatron from Mongolia.
Hello everybody, another best of 3 starting up. Here we have a fresh one with Nice versus Go Joey. I love that name. Speaking of names, I'm Rifkin, once again joined by Zombie Grub.
Hey guys, what's up? Go Joey is in fact an amazing name. Sounds like, like a
Go Gadget Zerg.
Yeah, like that, or like a Power Ranger or something.
Well, we've seen some age disparity. Now we see some age closeness, I suppose. Nice is 19 years old. Go Joey is 22.
Yeah, that's true. Nice, someone that we recognize from a lot of other tournaments. Go Joey actually does sound familiar, but I'm actually struggling to remember why or where would have seen him. But I've definitely seen him in some brackets, so and he's a Zerg player too. Maybe we'll get to see some really good games versus Nice, who is a very strong Protoss. So if Go Joey can take him on, then I'd be impressed.
It's gonna be really tough not to put too many Go-Go's when saying his name. I just want to like go Joey.
He probably does that in the chat, right? In the lobby, like everyone else. Go.
It's like, is everyone talking about me?
Wow. So we have the Zerg player banning 16-bit. Well, I guess that might be because Protoss players might find it a good map. I don't know. Darkness Sanctuary was Nice's ban, which makes sense. If you're gonna pick that map as your choice, it's gonna be the Zerg, and Nice is gonna play on that. So we have Acid Plant, Dreamcatcher, and Catalyst. Catalyst being the first map.
A very standardized map. There's nothing to really poke or comment on here. Just good luck to fun to both players. The curious thing will be what map number 2 ends up looking like. I am, as always, going to be cheering for a map like Dreamcatcher, as I really enjoy it, but Acid Plant's a pretty standard follow-up too. Either way, I think we always root for Game 3 in a best of 3 because it means we're going to get some good StarCraft. Yeah,
hopefully some back and forth, and they both show some, good skill, and we also get to see a bit of their style.
Well, kicking things off here in the top left for Game 1, we have the Blue Protoss, Nice.
In the bottom right, as the Red Zerg, it is Go Joey.
I'm sorry. You know what? I like Nice. We see him playing a lot of tournaments, especially ones we even host ourselves. But, I think he's even my favorite to win this. I'm just going to root for Go Joey. I just love his name, and I want to see more people saying his name in more casts.
I wonder why he chose the name too, like Joey is okay. It's a name. It's a real name, but like Go, did he just like the sound of it? Is he a fan of like 60s movies where there's go girls, and like does he always say that to his friends, like go? I don't know. It makes him sound like he's so eager,
Maybe it's actually Go 0A.
Maybe.
Maybe it's actually Go 0A. 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 0A.
Oh, like the J is silent. Go 0A.
Well, PvZ is a bit of a fickle matchup right now. I think no matter what league you find yourself residing in, whether it's the lower sides of the MMR or the higher sides, we tend to find this game go pretty nicely and evenly matched all through the mid game, and it become incredibly difficult for Zerg if Protoss can reach that late game.
Yeah, that's kind of how the scales tip this way and that. So I know a lot of Zerg players, this is a kind of like, it's always like, let's take aside what we see a lot as casters or what even stats bring up. If you could actually take the stats of every single game, like when did Zerg players win, which I guess you could, it's actually not that hard, but still. Like if you just push that all aside, it's just like the person's feelings about the matchup, right? And I think you're going to find that most Zerg players feel the necessity to kill the Protoss in the mid game. And then the Protoss players are going to feel safest in the late game when they have 4 bases and building up to like a 150, 200 supply army.
I really enjoyed this variety of like almost Hydralisk. I'm going to say timings here, because sometimes it's just Hydras for the sake of the mid game, and then sometimes it's really fast Hydras, and you get that sort of pre-anti-air late game. But at the end of the day, as we know, Zealots with Charge, which are probably the most common thing for a Protoss player to go for, tend to beat them. So this matchup really is all over the place, and it's going to come down to players' preferences, style, and while Nice is doing something pretty standard with a Stargate opener, I really am curious what type of player Gogo Joey's going to look like here in that mid game.
Right. I said I see his name, occasionally, but I don't think I've ever cast him. I don't know what his play style looks like, but that's what we're gonna find out. Like, and I'm guessing it's going to be some pretty standard stuff. We do have a standard opener from Nice here with a Stargate. I imagine the Zerg player is gonna go for Ling Hydra, maybe Banelings.
There's been some Korean players we've been particularly fond of, and even really young European players who, regardless of all the Hydralist talk I just brought up, have been making really good use of Ling run buys, and I definitely would love to see that against a player like Nice.
I think the starkest contrast of what Zerg players can do, like, because there's styles of compositions. You can be more of a death ball type of style with Ling Bane, Ling Hydra, or you can be more of those run buys as you talked about. But the real, like, for me, that's like, okay, this is that type of player, so that type of player. Is it Roaches or is it Ling Bane Ling?
Yeah.
I personally think that Lings are just so fun and they're always amazing to watch. I think they show like true skill. Roaches don't get me wrong. I mean, Sal uses Roaches and he's great, but like it's always a little bit more apprehensive for me when I see someone going to Roaches. Feels like they're going to be more defensive. Feels like it's going to be more of a hard counter because eventually the Protoss get Immortals, like all that good jazz. I love seeing Ling Bane Ling Hydra. I hope that's what Gogo Joey is thinking of.
One of my favorite things is because you just referenced all the Banlings, right? You can tell exactly when a player's ahead in the game or where he's at economically just by how many Banlings he's making per wave. If they're making 50 Banlings, they're pretty good. If they're barely struggling to make 23, maybe they could use some better econ.
Right, yeah. We have Gogo Joey going for a little bit of an earlier layer than it's really normal and necessary. I mean, like a little bit, like 15 seconds, but is most importantly still continuing to drone, so no shenanigans here, as well as getting a lair, which he knew it was going to be a Stargate opener, and I'll have defense against it, no problem.
Well, Phoenix being very annoying, lifting up the Queen. That surgical incision for the Oracle to get in there and try and get some kills. But Nice is driven off pretty quickly. Gogo Joey was prepared for this, and I mean, this is pretty standard Protoss stuff. There's nothing too crazy going on here, but oops, not quite paying attention to the natural base. Oh, the drones getting pulled are never the ideal solution here.
Well, you're right about that, but there's just nothing to bring forth to help the drones.
Right, and that's the
They would have been
problem.
better off just lost mining time. Usually you have at least like 6 Lings or something, right, that have been scouting, but there is really nothing. They're popping right now, finally taking care of things, but he lost that mining time and he lost 10 drones. A fantastic start for a Protoss.
Ooh, almost lose that Oracle. Very, very low. Too close for comfort, but okay. Deep breaths, he recovers, keeps most of his stuff alive, and of course he racked up 11 kills.
These are a suspicious number of gateways. All right, that's going to be going up to 6 total. He's still going into Archon charge lot, and I imagine Warpin is going to be made too, but I do believe this is going to be more of a punch than the third base really would let you to believe. See a third base, maybe you think it's macro, and maybe it's only the Archons, but no, I think this is going to be charge lots as well. And yes, Gogo Joey would love to see where they're morphing in. He sees it, but how is he going to prepare for it? I would say this type of attack is very good against what Gogo Joey is doing, which is going straight up to Hydras and no Banelings here, no sturdy Roaches.
Oof. That's all I really got. 3 letters. O-O-F. Oof. This warp into the main, I think, went unscouted too because of the harass that had been going on with the Phoenix. Yeah, there was no overlords in position to see this landing, and a little bit of lag, I suppose, but the warp prism goes down through it?
Oh gosh, that's terrible. He had a really strong attack there, really good chance to maybe even end the game, but without the extra charge slots, it's not going to be the case. Also, he can't save the Archons anymore. Well, I spoke too soon. Recall.
Very nice recall. Look at the Archon's health, or shields rather, because the health doesn't matter. They got 10 health. That was a very clutch recall, very well executed. Of course, the stasis trap, a couple more drones killed. Go-Go Joey's really been kept in check. This is a Zerg player who would love to be on 60 or even pushing 70 drones for 3 bases, sitting on 51.
He was being kind of greedy by not making any lings deal with those adepts, and that hurt him first and foremost. And then he was almost greedy. Thankfully, he did see the warp in of units, so he was making those hydras, but that just means that he still isn't up to that ideal drone count. Counters not going to do anything. Storm's already over halfway done for Nice, and while Nice to lose the warp prism, saving the Archons is a big deal. Warp prism's 200 minerals, very different loss there, and he could remake it if he wanted to. He's just going to go for macro. His detection is going to come from that Oracle and the Observer, and he will want to see that lurkers are on the way. Not Banelings, not a huge Hydra swell, but rather a lurker den.
You know, it doesn't come up too often, but sometimes that detection can be a real issue. It's really cool watching players specifically go for detection snipes, and then things like lurkers tend to have a lot more power than normal, but I'm saying all of this with the apprehension that lurkers might not actually get into play this game. This attack him at a Nice is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, notably, so Nice does something, I think, a little bit interesting with this build. So he delays his +1. He's not going to have that for this push, but he also, really went fast in a Storm, considering that he did not get his gases at the 3rd base. This is still off of kind of a lower worker count for Nice, and, it's definitely more committed, but it looks like it might just work.
I mean, the combination of charge slots with or without upgrades are already pretty good against the number of Hydras in play. Add in a Storm or 2 to that mix, we have about, 4 or 5 ready by the looks of it. This should be a pretty easy attack as long as Nice doesn't mess this up. Go Joey does try to spread his units. I love the way he's trying to use the terrain and the buildings and the mineral lines to stop the Zealots from getting surface area, but man, Storms are just so good. Most of them are missing and not quite hitting the mark, but doesn't matter. They just need to get the Hydras low. The Zealots come for the execution. 21 drones die. The entire army is gone. There's the tap out. GG. Nice will walk away victorious in game number 1.
That wasn't a 1-2 punch. It was more like a 1-2 feint, get hit yourself, and then the 3rd punch came eventually. Because the depths did so much damage, and then the Oracles, did something with the Warp Prism, but then he lost the Warp Prism. But his final attack was too brutal for Joey to handle.
Insert some sort of drunken boxing reference.
A little. I think drunken boxing is still, you're not supposed to get hit yourself.
That's true. You're supposed to actually do well with it, so I take it back. You were just drunk and, boxing. But, alright, game 1 didn't go so well for Go Joey. Zerg's got a lot of tricks up their sleeves, though. He can go for early pools and retaliation, maybe decide to play even grosser with macro. Whatever his preference ends up being, we'll find out. Because I don't recall the maps. We're going to see them in just a second, but we'll see what his map pick was here in just a moment.
Either Dreamcatcher or Acid Plant. I don't remember which one was his.
I want to say it was Acid Plant.
Me too, but I, don't...
I mean, I'm always hoping for Dreamcatcher, but nope, it was in fact Acid Plant. I think Dreamcatcher is just not a very Zerg map. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it doesn't seem to be the one picked by Zergs.
I feel like I would like it if I played Zerg more, because for Terran and Protoss, the attack paths for me are a little confusing, but on the flip side, there are some really nice tank positioning I know that can be abused, Terran can't abuse versus Protoss and Zerg. I don't know Zerg's thoughts about it on this matchup specifically though, and that's where I'm like, okay, maybe it is not great versus Protoss, and Go Joey's even sad that he had to let that one through because he only get 2 bans.
Well, either way, we'll be getting into it here in just a moment. And of course, Go Joey needs to probably just take some breaths, collect himself. I don't think we saw a lot of big errors in terms of his build order, his macro. Maybe problems dealing with the adepts. That's something to comment on. So a little greedy with drones, but enough dwelling on the past. We'll see if he adjusts. Spawning here to the lower right It's our blue Protoss up 1-0. Nice.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Go Joey.
Go Joey Jetpack. Sorry. I just want it to be a thing so badly now. I grew up with Inspector Gadget as a kid, man. I don't think I'd ever watch any sort of modern adaptation of it, but I just have such terribly fond memories of that. You know, Magic School Bus, Captain Planet.
I did not really grow up with that. I mean, everyone, I think, watched Magic School Bus in school, but no, Inspector Gadget wasn't on my list of cartoons. I was watching a lot of other older cartoons. I can't even remember what they were, though. What's like Bullwinkle? Something.
Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly.
That's a yikes.
What is a yikes?
I think even, because I'm a little older than you, and even Rocky Bullwinkle was too old for me when I was a child.
I really loved, I mean, I guess the channel Boomerang didn't exist back when I was a kid, but like there was those morning cartoons that were just the older ones, and like Powerpuff Girls or whatever was on, you know, when I was young. So I watched that a lot. Anyway, enough about cartoons.
Well, I got one more cartoon remark to make.
Oh, okay.
I just want to point out, in my family, I had to actually bribe my brother and sister with allowance to watch Pokemon for the first time because it wasn't my turn to pick the show on TV.
Wow. I never fought with my brothers show-wise. I always fought with them, though, about the console, you know, whatever it was in 64.
Whose turn it is, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't remember it ever really being my turn, though.
You know, I had such a vindictive sister. We skipped her turn one time, and she used her turn to delete our save files.
Wow.
Out of the family.
Oh, that's messed up, man. I remember once I was suspicious that my brother did that when he like was mad at me for something, and I guess I forgot about it, but now that I remember, I'm angry again.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, now we have things starting to develop, and we'll see what this ends up looking like. We got a couple more Zerglings coming out early on. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit of map presence and awareness. Pick off this probe, for example, could be nice.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the last game. You know, I think Go Joey showed that he is a solid player. What he was doing of the time that we saw him wasn't wrong, but he made some silly mistakes. So, like in the second game here, really going to be able to see like, were those silly mistakes as in he was warming up or he was nervous or something like that? Or were they nervous or they actually just were mistakes that he commonly makes in this matchup? He always mistimes X, Y, or Z because he doesn't usually face such a caliber of player as Nice. That's what we're going to find out here because I don't know. I feel like it was just a bit of nerves or what have you that he was taking so much unnecessary damage that I would say in most other of his latter games he does not.
Well, Phoenix is going to be nice to remove overlords. So this pesky scout that he knows is sitting here get removed.
Yeah, he's so annoying. Definitely Go Joey has to be on guard. So last game we had some aggressive maneuvers from Nice. It was not a macro game. I mean, Protoss can kind of do the whole like third base probe attack, feign attack, warp prism harassment, but really be macroing. There's a lot of subtle hints to tell which one they're doing for the Zerg player, but sometimes it's not just the slight difference of one gateway or two. Sometimes it's like, oh, a Phoenix is out, I guess I can macro, and really it's like a 6, 7 gateway, 8 gateway, charge that all in. That's what I think Go Joey has to still be a little bit worried about. If he is gonna, you know, if this does go to a game 3, for instance, like Nice can send those types of builds out and about and really be quite cruel sometimes.
Well, the other downside to the Phoenix here taking away that scouting is that he did only send one Overlord out, so there's not going to be a follow-up to see what's in the main, to see if Nice is going to be cruel or not. And Go Joey's got a couple of Zerglings that won't break the front. Now he's got to deflect this at home. That's not fun.
He's got Twilight Council, but no Robo. Is he going to be going into a Resident Glaives follow-up?
Ooh, that is a very... I like that build because it's a wham bam thank you ma'am type of all-in. But it's also one that doesn't work as often. So going for a third Nexus here instead.
I feel like the order of things is a little weird, but...
Wham bam thank you ma'am.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So it is going into Resident Glaives, but I would have expected Nexus, then Twilight Council, or Twilight Council plus more gateways, then like, yeah. But anyways, slight differences, not too important. It is still going to be removing Resident Glaives.
It's still odd to see without a Robo and without a Warp Prism. There we go, starts up now. I was worried that it was going to take too long, because he spends all this money on the Nexus, of course, but The way he's doing this is very intriguing. It's not quite the all-in you would expect. With that third Nexus down, there's always going to be recovery if this falls flat on his face, but I kind of encourage the all-in. I think Nice Shot saw how powerful his aggression was last game, but the lack, and I mean really severe lack of scouting this game, he should really be able to just bamboozle Go-Go Joey.
Bamboozled. Yeah, that's concerning. The only one Overlord gets picked off, and he would have to either invest into an Overseer or Overlord speed to, otherwise get past that Phoenix. It's tough, and the way that Go-Go Joey was playing last game, if that's the style that he usually plays, right into those Hydras, no stops at Banelings, that is something that a Charge Lot all in or an Adept attack would do well against. But listen, I actually Go-Go Joey might be okay against this. He's making so many Hydras so early.
This is really interesting the way the probes came in. For a moment I thought it was like a fake out, but then I realized he's actually transferring it. Like, this attack is not as all in as it appears. It's going to get some good damage. It kills a lot of the Hydras and of course bounces to the mineral line, so it's not going to be easy for Go-Go Joey to completely stop the damage. And this is, because this is not committed out of Nice, he's got a great follow-up with that third Nexus.
If Go-Go Joey made 10 more drones and then made Hydras, I think that this could be game-ending damage. As you said, it wasn't as committed as it looks. It's just kind of
the recall,
bulking up your depths. Nice recall once again from the main base. But it's good that Go-Go Joey survives. We do have to still note that he was at a lower drone count to do that without the ease of Banelings, and now he's at even a lower drone count, right, 42.
The power of resources lost to propel you further in the game. The Nexus saving those 4 Adepts doesn't seem like a big deal, but it really was. It's just compounding on the already incredible damage done. This is scary for Nice. He's actually hitting it. Go-Go Joey's about to hit a time where the army supply is a little bit low, but that's because the gateways are finishing up. 5 gateways are done in a few moments. Charge is done in seconds. Another Immortal on the way. I think the force fields should hold this. With coupled with the shield batteries, there should still be a defense for Nice, despite being down in supply.
I guess this is why Go-Go Joey had those Hydras made a little bit faster, because he was planning to commit to an attack like this. There's no evolution chamber for those upgrades, but this is working off an even lower economy than it really should be.
That Sentry Focus Fire was actually really great. Takes out most of the Banelings. Of course, once the Banelings are gone, the Zealots get to be king in these fights. Force Fields on the backside, looking amazing for Nice. Takes a good fight, even pulling the probes. A little bit risky with these Banelings around, but really all he has to do is hold. His army supply is almost gone, though, and I'm getting a little worried for him. Maybe we will see Dreamcatcher after all.
Where are those charge lot warp-ins? I thought his gateways were finishing, and having 8 charge lots at this point might have cleaned everything up, but now he's lost anything to protect the charge lot warp-ins, and this suddenly went from, this is an okay situation, Charles should be coming into, this is a game-ending situation.
Yeah, Nice is in quite the predicament. Down 18 probes, the army pretty much non-existent. I want to believe in the power of Archons to start balance winding, but this War Prism is honestly the scariest thing in play at the moment. The amount of micro this can do is units funnel through that choke with these Archons. Well, if you level out the army supply, he's kept his worker count to be about similar to his opponent.
Yeah, this is the weird thing, right? This game isn't actually over. Sunrise score goes down, but at this point, well, I guess you still want Sentries, but you're building Charge Lot, Immortal, and Archon, so it's not too bad. If he can stabilize, the worker count's not bad, and the base count isn't bad too, considering it's versus Zerg.
I love this. The Warp Prism's powering the gateway. Without a pylon, it's the only source to get a couple Warpins in. So squeezes out that extra Zealot, now he chases his opponent back across the map, and I gotta be honest with you, I was really worried Nice was gonna die there, but that recovery, the stabilization, oof.
Well, I was going to say right before it was suddenly, oh, wait a second, that Nice, if he had lost this game right there, he just would have smacked himself in the head. He had like 1,300 minerals in the bank. That would have easily taken care of things without losing the third Nexus, but just a little off on his production timings, I suppose. But now everything is a little bit more calm. He's at least, probably thinking like, okay, at least he didn't die. I have a solid game. He probably knows how dedicated that was, considering there were no upgrades, and he knows how many drones he killed. So he should feel still okay-ish. Not great, but okay.
I like it with the pylons, by the way, at the front of his base. It creates a very small choke, so there won't be an easy amount of run-bys to get through, should this attack fail, but I'm not convinced it will fail. The Archons come through mostly unscathed. There's no Zerglings left. A little bit of Warp Prism micro couldn't hurt, but without that Warp Prism micro, these units are starting to go down.
It's once again, you see these big, beefy units like Archons and Immortals, and you're like, well, that's just a good unit. And then they don't have the fodder of charge lots warping in at ridiculous rates. And you're like, oh, okay, maybe they can be target fired. So it was like almost the same situation as 2-3 minutes ago. But things are still okay. 3 base to 3 is nice as Nexus has finished up. Similar upgrades, and Chronobos might even make nice a little bit ahead on those upgrades. And I mean, he could even add in Storm here and really help whatever army disparity there might be in the future.
I'm really impressed with Go-Go Joey come around too. I think he's played this a lot better and tackled the situations more efficiently. But while he does have an army supply lead, I want to bring up, like, nobody really has upgrades this game. They're both pretty far from their +1 weapons finishing up.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, just what nice build is going to have happen, and then Go-Go Joey to go for a pretty much an all-in there. They're going to be finishing up around the same time. I do want to see Nice invest into that Storm as fast as possible, and I'm really worried that he's not doing that. Obviously his Archons, and those are pretty good, but Storm, like, it keeps Zergs off your back. It scares them as much as it, feels like it's dangerous to the Protoss. Maybe they don't hit. The Zerg's definitely scared of it, and he just has, well, not a lot of splash. Archons technically count as splash, but he doesn't have a lot of it.
Technically correct. The best kind of, oh no, don't attack your Nexus, correct! Yikes. Although the Banelings move command, and that's going to catch almost half of them before they connect to anything. Nicely done by the Archons, but I want to believe in the power of Immortal Zombie Grub, but their barriers have already been popped. That Nexus goes down, however. Ooh, the counter from the Zealots and the move command out of the Hydras! Oh my god, some miscontrol costs Joey. He panics to respond to the main.
Everything, it kind of looked wonky there. The Banelings got trapped in around that cannon. I guess they're trying to go for the probe line, and then those Hydras dying were quite expensive. It's going to be a base trade, a literal base for base. So that is the main going down, the tech going down, as that was the lair. So no +2 attack, for instance. No Lurker Den. Well, no, you can still get the Lurker Den. Might even be worth getting Lurker Den still.
Wait, you can't build the Lurker Den without the lair, can you?
Well, I thought you needed a Hydra to stand, but now I'm like I'm not even...
I think it's both. Either way, I don't know.
I think you might be right.
I don't know if he'd have time or money to get to Lurkers at this point either way, but I do like that he started the layer up right away. He didn't wait, so there's not going to be a huge gap in time for him, but this does disrupt his weapons. He was going for range, +2 range should have started. He's gone for melee instead, and mixing up that 1-and-1 split takes away a lot of damage from his army.
I really want to try this out. Because, if you lose a barracks, if you have a factory, you can still put a starport, so I'm like... Gotta go figure this out after.
You're so Terran, Zombie Girl.
Yeah, I guess that's a Terran mentality. Anyways, that layer is still a big deal, as it did bring back the base count to even, and even finding this little tiny hit squad. The Banelings, some of them connect, but the rest of them are slow, running into Archon and Immortals. Really
missing out on Baneling speed this game, I think. Not just for the 5 health, but the speed off of creep to actually get to connect to things. So many of these Banelings have died this game without actually getting any damage done.
And you definitely can't get that without a lair. So that's done, and maybe he'll invest in it after he deals with this Warp Prism, but he's lost a lair, and he's lost another hatchery, 2 mining bases that, I mean, now Nice is 3 base to 2 base. That's really great for the Protoss.
Not to mention he's got more Zealot Warpins. Those Immortals still standing strong. Now the barrier's getting popping. Ooh, we're finally going to see some of that Warp Prism micro, but the Warp Prism goes down. A recall to save his army once again, barely getting out of there alive.
Nicely done. A lot of those Immortals did get very, very low for having been recalled, but at least they live, and with those shields back up, they'll be quite powerful. This is still a tense game. I feel like it is just seconds away, like Banelig's getting a good detonation to change the course of things, but I want to say Nice's army is just nicer.
I'm screaming internally, though, because he should have gotten Storm so long ago, considering what he's been up against, right? Slow Banelings, emphasis on Hydralisks. Archons and Immortals are great, but I think you mix in just even 2 mediocre Storms, and it becomes such an easier battle for the Protoss.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I understand why it might seem like it's even too greedy to get, or why it might even not even seem useful, because sometimes when you are at these low units situations, the Hydras get good concave, they don't seem to do a whole lot. But we've seen, and funnily enough on Acid Plan a lot of the time, right? We see a lot of like charge all-ins or adept all-ins where the immediate emergency follow-up is getting to that Storm. So I think a lot of Protoss players would also be like, okay, maybe you should have gotten Storm at this point. Nice. But it's been back and forth, and he's just investing continuously into those Archons.
Oh, a little bit of a technical blip there, but hopefully nothing that affects anybody in game. Hydralisk getting some shots on the Zealot.
Take it out easy peasy. Baneling speed is finally on the way, and while he did go for that +1 missile, he then invested into +1 melee, and now onto +2 melee. So he really wants to get some Probe kills really wants to emphasize the banelings getting surrounds. And I guess one thing we have neglected to talk about is the creep spread has not really been cleaned up. So it's getting quite good for this matchup.
Yeah, the creep spread certainly getting across the halfway point is good for map control, but I'm glad to see both players getting some very crucial tech. The +2 is nice, no pun intended. But the banelings and, of course, more importantly, these storms coming out are going to be big game changers for the actual fights.
Oh, yeah. Things have calmed down to look like a normal ZVP, so I'm definitely happy to see. Oh, charge it, no!
Oh, he actually gets the block off. Man, how many times have we seen that, right? It looks like it's a wall off, but it's not.
Well, the darn thing just charged instead of holding position like it should have. Should go
So it's
back to
even
that
worse.
1,000-year of training that it has to do.
Yeah, the Stone Zealot teaches you to stand in place, not run around willy-nilly. All bimbly running from tree to tree like some kind of cat.
+3 is immediately started for Nice, so he will have the greatest upgrade really for Protoss here. Not usually worrying too much about armor in this composition. But Go-Go Joey, despite having taken 2 hatchery losses, a lot of lost mining in both of the worker counts, just still pretty abysmal, has gotten to a rather sizable army, one that certainly, if it gets a good position, could take out Nice's. Storms.
Storm's a big deal. Hit those banelings. Keep him off the rest of the army. Runs back. Ooh, the Archon clutch. More banelings coming in, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could go for the probe line, but they're actually going to go for the army. Not a lot of charges being warped in, but 3 Archons do finish up on the backside, and the Immortals have their shields back up, so another clutch fight from both sides. A little bit of a split. Oh, gosh, this is like trading out perfectly.
These golden boys had lived through like 9 battles. It's about time they finally got to rest. But once again, we got a really nice counterattack through warp-ins on the other side of the field. Nice keeps managing to get here with these zealots, and I guess the problem for Go-Go Joey is he really is leaving no units at home. It's all or nothing with each of these attacks, and I think for the first time in a long time, Nice finally has a pretty decisive army lead. He's been the one playing from the behind angle for quite some time now.
It's always funny, though, because in the same way that Go-Go Joey's not leaving anything behind, Nice is leaving... putting units on the front line instead of defensively. So every time we see those Archons and Immortals look a little bit bare, it's usually because the Warp Prism is harassing. And well, in this game, that has been the better choice. It's certainly done the correct amount of damage. And I can't believe Nice got away with this bottom left base, man. Like, that just seems like such an odd pace to take.
Well, Go-Go Joe doesn't want to let him, but you know what? Even with these really, really good Baneling connects, these storms still might be a little too much to tackle.
Storm still got his own zealots.
Ah!
Oh, no. Okay.
Nice reaction times, though. Once again, just getting those, saving the Templar in a weird way by making them Archons. You lose the storms, but it's better than losing the Templar.
Yeah, definitely. We have Nice with a finished up +3 attack going for now shields, and I do love that. It was a while ago that people, like, you know, did the math and crunched the numbers, and oh, well, nice 2 zeros. There it is.
GG, congratulations to the victor. Nice.